Welcome to Helping Hands. This is where we celebrate the people across Australia who make the world a better place. Coming up today,
photos of children wearing clothing that has come from here. When you think about the bigger picture, it's really significant and it's quite exciting.
the Wentworthville Uniting Op Shop makes an impact around the world.
Often burnout happens when they're trying to people please others and other people's agendas and needs. I think a lot of people, again, are trying to please the world instead of saying what is right for me, who am I, and just focus on that.
The panel discuss personal wellbeing, and we invite you to connect at helpinghands.tv. Over the past few weeks, we've seen how the volunteer-run Wentworthville Op Shop has made a positive impact among shoppers and in its local community. The shop has been running for more than 40 years and is now making a positive impact around the world.
The books, we have our literature, we have a really good range of books, our general books, and then underneath we have our jigsaw puzzles, all of which have been checked. So we have volunteers who do the jigsaws, check that all the pieces are there so we can write that they are complete. Out of this, let me think. Probably out of what's in here would be, for the term of his natural life, the Marcus Clarke, set in early Australia about convict. I love that one. I also like Power Without Glory, which is Australian as well. More about politics, as they said, and corruption. That's really interesting. I'm not originally Australian. I came here when I was 12. And it's just, I love British stories too, British whodunits especially. It's just a way to talk about the country. You know, I found out it was a way to learn about Australia. I have a heart for migrant people because I came to this country when I was 12, so I started high school here. And even being English and speaking English, it was so different, very difficult to adapt. And I can understand how difficult it must be for people who don't even speak English. I mean, their way of life is totally different. You know, this is a place where they can come, they can feel free here and at ease.
What really encourages me about our op shop is the various different groups we support and we help. People come to Australia, refugees, people who have left everything behind. We can provide them with clothes, with bedding, with household goods. Mums come here, they maybe can't afford lots of toys for their kids, but hey, we've got some really good second-hand goods. We also support a school for disadvantaged children in Bangladesh. We support a village and education in an African country. We send goods to people in the Pacific Island. We donate when it comes to disaster appeals in New South Wales, and we've had several of those lately. We are able to make donations either of goods or of our takings. So we might dedicate a whole month's takings to the flood appeal, or we might dedicate a particular day's takings to some other worthy cause that has come up just recently. So they're the sorts of things that really encourage me. It's knowing all this extra stuff that we do. It's giving what we have and what we can when the need arises. It's not just about what we do on Friday and Saturday mornings.
We're just looking for our clothes, the shop is very good. So it's very cheap, we get everything very cheap, The thing which is outside is $50, $60, here we get only $2, It is just very, very cheap, And it's both good for the people. So everything is get new, It's not juice. New items we get it, This is pack. This is for the men's only. So it's very new. New means it is just for the Looks like it has come from the factory, you know. So that's it, the things which are very new, we take it, you know. If it is suiting to us, we take it. So otherwise, we just look around and go, you know. And that's why local, just by the side of this, you know. Very close, very close. It's just 5 minutes walk from here. I have been shopping for 8 years, you know, but this shop is very useful, you know. I find the people that are working here, so they are very all good. We love to talk with them, you know. They're very, very good, you know.
There is more after the break.
Photos of children wearing clothing that has come from here. When you think about the bigger picture, it's really significant and it's quite exciting.
My name is Titilia Ratu Maiwai. I've been a member of the church for nearly 20 years now, yeah. And then when they were looking for volunteers in the op shop, I volunteered, just helping in, you know, selling and what else that, and you know, look after the customers and just be pleasant to them. I always send things to Fiji. I collect things, I buy from here, collect things, and they've been very good to us, to the people of Fiji, this shop. Twice a year, I send we sell about $400 worth to go on the boat. The boat is cheaper because they charge by cubic, not by weight. I do that twice a year. Anything that I know that they need there. One time there was hurricane and used to help with, like, I wanted frying pans, and when they donate, and keeps it for me, and I send all that to Fiji. People who ask for these things, I need all. People who have their daughters giving birth and they need baby clothes, I come to and I said, you know, and can you give me this, and does it for me. And I fill up suitcases of baby things. That's going to that house, particular house. So I write their name on that suitcase on the corner. Well, the people in Fiji appreciate all the little things that come from here, especially this shop.
Well, I love coming here, and I jokingly one day said something about I'm going down to my therapy, and that has just stuck. We have fun, you know, we enjoy our time together. It's hard work at times. Yeah, we enjoy the camaraderie, and we've all got different skills, so we can use those skills and work together. I've known these ladies for a very long time, some of them for 40 years. Yeah, we get on well, and we're benefiting the community, but there's benefits for us as well. We have a lady who comes and helps when she can, and she came from Zimbabwe, and she has shown us photos of children wearing clothes that have come from this op shop. A few of us have actually given her things for people over there that from our own homes, but it's incredible to see photos of children wearing clothing that has come from here, you know, and that sort of, yeah, when you think about the bigger picture, it's really significant, and it's quite exciting, really, to think that we're just individuals, but we're part of a bigger group.
I think it's the fact that the volunteers are so friendly. Just the atmosphere in the shop is friendly, and I think that comes through. You know, people are very relaxed in here, so there's no worries. I mean, if you don't buy anything, that's fine. Come and have a chat, have a look around.
If you are a helping hand or would like to see a helping hand from your local community featured on this program, visit our website and be in touch. We'd love to hear about the people and organisations across Australia who are making the world a better place.
To find out more about the Wentworthville Op Shop, visit our website and follow the links to the Helping Hands directory. Go to helpinghands.tv to find out more. Welcome back to Helping Hands, the program where we celebrate the people who make the world a better place. Joining Laura Bennett in the studio today to discuss the personal well-being and the things we can do to look after ourselves at home and at work is Amanda Rose, Graham Cowan and Justine Toe.
Hello, joining us in the studio today we have Justine Toe, Senior Fellow for the Centre for Public Christianity. We've also got Graham Cowan, a resilience author and founding director of Are You OK? And also Amanda Rose with us, the founding director of Western Sydney Women. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you. Graham, how do you define personal well-being? Is it about emotional, spiritual, mental well-being? What does it look like?
I went through my own 5-year crisis with a mental health issue where I didn't work and marriage broke down. And so I've had a lot of time to think about, those things, those foundations that keep it well. And what I found for me and also for others, that there's 3 areas of well-being we need to focus on. So the first is vitality. That's making sure we exercise, we eat well, we rest well. Intimacy is about building really supportive and caring relationships around us, both in our work life as well as our home life. And prosperity is our sense of contribution. And that can be through the work we do, it can be through volunteering for a church or a charity or a school. But it's really important to do all of those things together. And if we get self-care right, we're in great shape to be able to support and encourage other people.
And one of the biggest barriers to that aspect of well-being could be burnout. I think that's something we've seen a lot of people face. Amanda, in business, when you're teaching people how to avoid burnout, what are you telling them to do?
To know their goals and their purpose and stick to that. So often burnout happens when they're trying to people please others and other people's agendas and needs, when really they say, well, this is my purpose, whatever that is as well, not compared to what the world says you should be. Yeah. This is my God-given purpose. This is what I want to achieve, and then do what's required and rest in between. I think a lot of people, again, are trying to please the world instead of saying, what is right for me? Who am I? And just focus on that.
What are some of the signs you think that may indicate we're getting off track with that?
Well, the first one is if you're easily flattered. So I find flattery is one of the most dangerous things in this world because it can take you completely off track, being lured by, things that you don't normally are attracted to. So it could be a new business venture or a job that you shouldn't be going for. So being aligned to what it is that is your purpose, and also sometimes that feeling that you're missing out. Yeah. Often people think, I'm not achieving this, I haven't, included in that group, I'm not this, so they feel like they're missing out. And then all of a sudden, you're a part of a group you should not be, you're spending 5 hours, 10 hours a week doing things you shouldn't, you're burnt out. And that fear of rejection, if you say no, we need to say no more. We need to say no, thank you. You don't have to be rude, but said, that is not aligned to where I'm headed. You don't have to say that to people, but you need to say it for yourself. You need to say, no, this is where I'm headed. And you know what? Have your Sundays or your Saturdays off. Have a day off of rest and to think and say, plan my week, realign your goals on a regular basis and keep going.
And it's very easy to think we'll get to that later. We'll get to our well-being later when we have time, because we want to achieve, we want to succeed, we want to do well in life, in work, in family. Justine, what do you see the connection being between prioritising our well-being and achieving the things that we really want to?
I spoke to a burnout psychologist actually in a professional capacity, and she was saying that the first thing that needs to get scheduled into your diary is your rest, which I totally love what I hear Amanda saying, because I think that for someone like me who's like, I live by my to-do list, I want to get these things done, rest is so often the thing that just gets elbowed off the table basically, because I've got all these things that I need to do. So, but the idea that that actually comes first, and that is the foundation from which all of the stuff that we do can grow, like that is a restful thought, right? Like that you don't need to just keep scurrying along like the hamster on the wheel.
Graham, you shared a little bit about the personal challenges that you went through, the effects on your mental health. I think for all of us, there are times in life where we are experiencing a lot personally, but then professionally, then socially, everything layers up together. When you're going through a season like that where there's pressure from a lot of different directions, what does well-being and self-care look like in a season like that?
Well, it really is so important to know yourself and know your early warning signs. In my book, Back from the Brink, I interviewed Bob Borstein, who was the Director of Public Affairs at Google. And he said that ultimately we want to be our own therapist. And what he meant by that is that we need to be able to recognise our early warning signs. And for me, it's early morning awakening, not being able to get back to sleep again, and a sense of more anxiety. And so as soon as I feel that early on, I just know I've got to do things differently, really cut back on commitments, make sure I get back to the sleep patterns that I need to make myself healthy again. So it's just being in tune with, your own well-being.
Yeah, and it probably takes a minute to really learn our own individual triggers and things like that too. Amanda, for you, when you are considering well-being from a holistic approach, why do you think that's important, not to just make it about professional or personal success?
Well, it's about you as an individual, and I think we need to understand, again, back to purpose, why are we here? Everyone needs to find their morning routine. Everyone needs to find what their purpose is and stick to it, because it's that, in the end of the day, I always say, if you wake up and you've lost your job, you lost your friends, you lost your social network, can you survive? Can you keep going? That to me is well-being, that you can survive anything, that you can start from scratch when you need to. And that is when you need to know you're fulfilled and you're secure and you know your purpose on this earth. That way you can say no to things, yes to things, you can start things again, and you can walk away from situations that are bad for you.
I love what Amanda says, having a really firm conviction about what you're trying to do. And then that in some ways is the filter that you push all the requests through in some ways. But it's hard because sometimes it means saying no to things that you really want. But it's funny because it does require a sense of trust in you that from one perspective, lost opportunity doesn't mean that door is shut forever. Yeah. It could be an opportunity to be patient, right? And to wait for the right season. And that's really hard, especially for someone like me who wants it all now.
But sometimes it's good to shut the door. Sometimes it's good to shut it, lock it, block it, and never go back to it if it's wrong for you as well. And I think, like you said about women say yes often, sometimes they feel, oh, if I don't do that, I'll miss the opportunity. Actually, sometimes if you walk through the wrong door, you've missed out in the right opportunity.
Especially when people have families as well. Like we can't just pretend that we're all people who've sprung out of the earth, and by ourselves. We are actually in families and communities where we're dependent on each other. So a very practical filter in some ways for how to say yes or no to something is, how much does this impact my family as well, and not even just the nuclear family, but my ability to be a good friend. Like that is a completely a different set of priorities than we normally think about these things.
I heard a brilliant idea in terms of being able to take time out from a CEO who was in one of my forums, and he felt that he was on 24/7. There was emails, there was social media, what have you. And he came up with this idea where from Monday to Friday, he had his SIM card in his iPhone. Then on the weekend, he put it into a burner phone, really low function, so he couldn't look at email, he couldn't look at social media. All he could do was take and make calls. And so he found that really preserved his weekend, because a lot of it was distracted with looking at all these things, not being present with his wife and family. And it was just a very practical solution to something that we often all experience. It's just, being on a lot.
Thank you all so much for your contributions today. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And thank you so much for watching.
If there's a topic that you'd like to see discussed on Helping Hands, visit our website and be in touch. We love talking about the things that make the world a better place.
What are some of the changes you can make to your everyday life to better look after your whole self, body, mind and spirit? We'd love for you to join the discussion on our social channels and find out what works best for you. helpinghands.tv The things we must each do to look after ourselves does require a body, mind and spirit approach for best results, and is certainly not a one-size-fits-all solution. Sometimes a small change to our everyday habits can be positive and bring about big changes to our personal well-being.
Let us know about the Helping Hands in your local community at helpinghands.tv. Send a photo or a short video and tell us about your local heroes in 25 words or less.
Thanks to Amanda Rose, Graham Cowan and Justine To for joining Laura in the studio today. And thanks to you for being part of the show. We would love to hear what you think about this program and to tell your family and friends about Helping Hands. I hope you will make time to connect with us throughout the week and let us know about the Helping Hands in your local community. Bye for now.